Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Super-Fanta-Fi. This being a show where I talk about shows of the supernatural, fantasy, and or science fiction genre. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of 12 Monkeys. So in this episode, it kind of is the backlash of what happened at the end of the last episode where, you know, basically, what I liked is basically it wasn't just, oh, Cassie as well as Ramsey. There was other people that were kind of split because like, no, Jones doesn't know what she's doing about this whole situation. Just some people divided being like, oh, we should go back to 1957 and deal with the primary, but then there's still people on, Ramsey and Cassie's side about, oh, we need to go after the witness, just, dead set on that being the case, because they're like, oh, even after everything we've done, there's still no victory. Even though they destroyed the virus, it hasn't changed enough for the virus not to have ever happened. So obviously things still work out for the messengers in the end, plus at the same time they're destroying time too. So it's just where it seems like they might have had victories, overall it still seems like because nothing's drastically changed. There are some changes, but nothing drastically changed. It seems like, okay, we're screwed. Like, Jones doesn't know what the hell she's doing. So I'm not surprised the person that was on their side was Whitley. I pretty much figured out if anybody it would be him. I like it because basically it was an exact repeat of the Spearhead situation. Even Jones made a comparison. Was it Jones? Someone made a comparison to it saying like, oh, it's just like the Spearhead situation. Granted, the whole thing, I'm glad to say, turned out way better than the Spearhead situation because a lot of people died during that whole thing. This time, I mean, sadly, one person did die, that being Jennifer. Old 2044 Jennifer, but I wasn't too surprised because the moment, it's like, oh, like she's always talked about the fact is, because she got it from Cole, who got it from her, just the way time works, that there are multiple endings, and basically which ending is the right one is the one that you choose. And basically she said that today was going to be one of those endings where like somebody's going to die today. And then she had that speech to Cole. I did like that, telling Cole like, oh, you're going to be a leader. You've changed, like, I've seen it through the adventures that we've had together and the ones we haven't had together yet. That with all those experiences, you become a fine leader. But this is a war, and in war you have to make certain sacrifices. So are you willing to sacrifice someone you love for the sake of continuing on your mission? And he was like, yeah. And the moment she said that, I was like, you're talking about yourself. This is the day you die, isn't it? And it turned out to be the case. I mean, because it's no surprise, because she's known, like, we see that she learned in 2016 when she dies. Because she saw the word of the witness, so she knew exactly when she was going to die. I did like the whole because I was wondering, like, the way things were planned. I was like, okay, so this is when Cole goes back in time, knocks on the hotel door. She's like, wow, you weren't kidding about being right back. And then basically this is Jennifer, who from the Hyena episode, the one who had just lost like her group. Like, she had, I guess out of any particular time period, she's the perfect Jennifer to lead. She just lost her, because I was curious about how that whole thing was going to work out. Like, I was wondering, like, were the daughters kind of her replacement for her, losing the hyenas, or was I didn't know how that whole thing worked. So now she's going back in time, and younger Jennifer is now leading the daughters, and that's got to be kind of weird for them because they're so accustomed to their mother being older, but now she's here and she's younger. She's about their age. And I do like the fact that Jennifer is having so much fun with it. Just like, she splintered for the first time, and it was just like, wow, can we do that again? And if she sees that and just looks all around, the daughters looking at her like, mother, and they all bow down to her. She's like, are you talking about me? And then having that conversation with her older self, being like, I love you. I know it's weird, which I don't know why it's weird to say that, but she's like, I need you to remember that, because there'll be a time when you need to remember that. And then basically we end up learning. We got a little taste of it. I was like, don't get too close, you're gonna create a paradox. That's the moment I'm thinking that she steps forward, just like, don't get too close. So I thought that was kind of neat, but just time travel is not something I 100% understand. Like, in any show I like, it doesn't mean I 100% understand it. But basically, this Jennifer, 2044 Jennifer, was saying the fact is that she basically, 2016 Jennifer has two choices laid out in front of her. There's one choice is to lead her daughters, the travel throughout the storm while Cole goes back to deal with the primary. Like, we go through there, you push through the storm and you go to Titan and you fight, you know, you go to war against the Witness, because even though they both know that Titan only holds death, and basically the other choice is to take her daughters and just leave, and kind of leave and hope that things work out for the best. Essentially, Jennifer made the 2044. Jennifer made the choice of taking her daughters and leaving, but she is like, the choice is the choice is yours, because, you know, talk about the fact is that they're not very brave, but it's like, you have to be brave. And I guess, I don't know, I guess at this point in time, it is a Jennifer that is more likely to be brave, like I said, because of the whole hyena situation. Like, that in itself took bravery to do, to basically put together a group and go after the 12 monkeys. That in itself took bravery, in my opinion. So I guess it was, you could say it's because of convenience, because the machine was already set there, because that's the time he had previously jumped to. That was his previous, like, jump before he jumped with Cassie and Ramsey last episode. So I'm guessing that, but also I guess it's because it was at the opportune time. Basically, I did like the fact that she decided, you know what, we're going to wage war on, she's going to make the other choice. She's going to go to Titan. Essentially because she said, I follow the yellow brick road in my head, because Ramsey was worried about it. Just that whole thing was just like, now, you know, Cole went off to deal with the primary, and then that whole, like, that final sequence was just super sad, because this was like a one-shot deal, like them going, and Cassie followed behind them, because Cassie was basically, she knew she was acting retroactively because of the whole situation with him being inside of her mind. It's not that she wanted revenge, but she's basically telling him that basically it's not just about, you know, doing the right thing, trying to kill the Witness. It's basically her being afraid because he was able to get inside of her head, and she was, I guess, she wanted to be reassured that once she killed him, he'd never be inside of her head again. Because even throughout the episode, she was reluctant about everything, the whole coup that happened. Just that facility, it can never just have an okay day. There's always something going on in that facility. It was never just like, oh, things are okay this day. There's always something going on. But that ended up happening. But essentially, you know, she believed that, you know, because she was very reluctant at every point, especially if something concerned Cole too. She's like, "Where's Cole? Where's Cole?" He's like, and Ramsey's like, "Did you actually think I'd kill him?" And she's like, "Honestly, I don't know." She kind of muttered that to herself when he was walking away, because I get just the way circumstances are, because he's so dead set on his revenge. And it's so interesting because him and Cole were on opposite sides again, you know. I mean, same goal is to stop everything, but I mean, when you have Ramsey, for example, Ramsey really in this for revenge. He honestly doesn't care if he dies, though, because he doesn't know for sure because they had the whole plan of like, oh, we'll splinter there, but we won't, like, we'll take out the time traveling part of splintering, and we'll just like slingshot ourselves there, and then we'll kill him and use his machine. But it's like, do you know for a fact that's what the Witness is doing, that he's actually time traveling, or is it something else? Like, there's no telling. You don't know for sure if he actually has a machine. I don't know. It's hard to tell, because the one who built Titan, I mean, last night I was so sure about it, but now I'm not, because now I think about it, it's like, well, no, the person who built Titan was Joan's ex-husband, and he's the one who also built the time machine. So it's like, he could have easily built another one, because he is technically in the employment of the 12 monkeys, because the 12, I was about to call him the 12 men or something, but the tall man ended up kind of asking him to build Titan like way in the past. So we still haven't gotten a look at that, but I guess like that's kind of something maybe we'll get a look at in the next episode. But the whole, like, getting back to it, the whole facility being destroyed thing, that was kind of like, you know, Hannah and Jones got separate. It doesn't seem like that many people died. It seems like one of those scientists the dude that got saved because time kind of rewrote it, you know, they changed something, so he ended up being alive again because he died at the Spearhead place. Looks like he's dead again. We didn't really see how many people died, but we know that definitely Jones died. She was like the last one. Facilities getting consumed. Hannah's running away on horseback because she told her to get away, and it's just like, that right there, that's what cements this as like, this is a last ditch effort, because there's nothing left now. Jones is gone, the machine is gone, because she told him like, there's no, like, you know, once you do this, there, you have to do this, because if you don't, there won't be a machine to splinter back to. Makes you wonder what would happen if they did try to splinter back with the machine going, where they just poof into nothingness. Like, would they kind of fall into an in-between time period? It's kind of like a void or something. Doesn't pop in mind. But she was very grateful. She's like, you always, you know, you've always had faith in me, which is kind of like, which is, you know, it makes you wonder, like, why though? Like, he believes so strongly in Jones. Like, he's always had faith in her. It's just like, no, we do what Jones said. Even when the situation came out back in season 1, when like he found out like, oh, what happened, like to all the previous people that went through the splintering process, like, you know, that they ended up the way they did, but Cole kept going anyway, because it's like, it's the mission, you know, plus he believed in Jones and believed that, you know, it could stop all this. Very interesting. So many other things in this episode. For one, Deacon apparently he has a little brother, because he talked about the fact that his little brother was like Cole. I was like, I can't remember if Ramsey ever brought that up, when Ramsey was kind of messing with Deacon's head and was bringing up his past, because he lived back then. He made sure to check in on Deacon and knew about his abusive father and stuff like that. But Deacon was like, you're like my little brother. And it's just like, I love the fact is that he was super depressed, and Cole is like, really? I never would have thought out of anything, that the one thing that would break you would be Cassie. He's like, yes, I might have psychopathic tendencies, but there's still a heart beating in here. He's getting super drunk, the end of the world. And basically, Cole had to give him a good old big old speech like, oh, you're a survivor. You survived the plague. You survived scavengers. You survived this far, and you're just going to let like a freaking storm wipe you out. You're not, like, basically don't go out like a bitch. You're not the type to go out like a bitch. You're the type to go out swinging. And it's like, all right, Cole. Basically, let's do it. And then, like, hard cut to him vomiting. Loved it. He's just like, yeah, just go ahead and get it all out. So I did wonder throughout that whole thing, like, while Cole was visiting the daughters, I'm like, where the hell is Deacon? I was like, we still haven't cut it. And then it cut to him shooting the guy. I was like, okay, there he is. So we didn't see everyone else. We didn't see Deacon or Whitley, but I can only assume, because of, you know, comparing it to previews we've seen of like, oh, things happening throughout the season, I'm like, okay, so he's obviously with them. I think most of the facility is with them. I don't know how many people were left inside, like that scientist as well as Jones. I mean, there could have been many other people that died too. Obviously, you know, Whitley's probably with Ramsey and them. I guess because, you know, because he's the one, you know, it's one of those situations again where it's kind of like, oh, like he felt like, you know, it's like Jones, it's kind of the same thing. Jones hasn't done anything. You know, there's no fixing this situation, so we have to go and take care of the problem at the source, essentially. But even they are on a time limit too, because even though the facility's going and they got away from it, you know, obviously they're marching towards essentially death. There's death behind them, because eventually that storm's going to follow them and consume everything. So, but I'm very interested. I'm very curious to see like how that will play out. Like when things are fixed, like when when the storm is stopped, it's like what will happen? Will they pop back into existence? Will everything be undone, or is like things ravaged by time? Like you're not able to bring them back. I'm very curious. There was like I kind of got like a sneak peek of a preview of something where it showed like a young Jennifer talking to like Dr. Adler. I think it was Cassie, Ramsey, and Jones. It looked like it might have been a younger Jones. I'm not sure. So I don't know how that situation, what that really meant. I knew it was probably like a future episode that was kind of getting spoiled for me. But what I also liked in this episode, just kind of a one-off thing, is just like Ramsey had the gun on Jones, and she was like, this is the second time you've had a gun on me, and she's taking off her glasses. She says there won't be a third, and headbutt him. I was like, wow, Jones, this is pretty badass. Just because it's just kind of, she was tired of Ramsey's bullcrap. Just like they were literally running out of time. They spent so much of it fighting. I mean, that's how the whole Jennifer thing happened. So, But I also like the fact that Deacon's just sliding down, whistling, and then Cassie's like, okay, I get it. This was nothing personal, right? And Deacon's like, no, it was definitely personal. Any chance to kind of piss on you and Ramsey, I jumped at it. I don't care about whether Cole goes back in 1958, 59, who cares? I just want to kind of mess with you guys. And I was curious about that too, because when 2044, Jennifer walked up to him, she touched his face, and she was like, huh. He's like, what, do we have a thing, or like, do you know me or something, Granny? And she's like, not yet or something. So I was like, wait, does that mean y'all like a little bit earlier in the time period, like the younger you and him kind of have a thing or something? I was like, I didn't really understand it. And then Hannah ended up cutting his face. I'm like, that's why she touched your face. She knew that was going to happen. It's kind of interesting when you look at the fact is that Jennifer had such, because she did walk in there, she was like, hello, old friend. I was like, what? I was like, oh man, time travel. It's too much to keep track of. It's like little things here and there kind of referencing the fact that she'd been in that room before. And the way she talks about it is kind of like, oh, multiple times in fact. Maybe? I don't know. Or maybe she was just referencing the fact that she had been back there once. I don't know. She did talk about the fact that her and Cole go on many adventures. So I'm very curious to see like what else they kind of get, mixed up in when this is all said and done. There won't be an episode next week. Apparently it's not, 2 weeks from now. But you have Cassie and Cole together, which is good because it's like, gives them time to kind of come back closer together. Granted, I don't know how Deacon's going to feel about that, but then, Deacon's probably like Cassie out of his mind and whatnot. Makes you wonder, will there kind of be a thing between them, Deacon and Jennifer? Someone with psychopathic tendencies clashing with someone that's a little bit crazy. It'd be kind of, I don't know, like it's weird to say. I think they kind of make a twistedly nice, I don't know, I'd like to see something like that happen. It'd be even odder if you had Ramsey and Jennifer hook up, but I don't know. I feel like Deacon and Jennifer, there might be something there. Maybe not. Maybe it's completely horse crap. I mean, she up there. Maybe the only reason why she touched his face is because she remembered the scar, or maybe it's because there's something that happened. I don't know. Like it popped in my mind for a second. Like, oh, did y'all have a thing in the past or something, or future, or something? And then I was like, okay, it's time travel's weird and crazy. It's like, how did Jennifer? Like, it seems like old Jennifer was young Jennifer at one point who came to 2044 to replace older Jennifer, and like, what? Like, I thought this was the Jennifer that existed throughout all time, like since 2016, and she aged and became 2044 Jennifer. I thought that's how that worked. Apparently it's not. I'm heavily confused on that part. So, once again, time travel is confusing as hell. Overall, though, still a great episode. I'm very curious to see where everything goes with Cassie and Cole, like what the prime. I'm very curious to see if we get another kind of like serial killer primary. Like, granted, he was just killing off other primaries, but I mean, I guess because he killed off so many primaries, that's why they only need one. I don't know. I guess the balance of time is really very fragile if it only takes like 2 primaries dying to really set that in motion. I mean, the others were killed by that particular primary, and then Cole killed that one, so there was no like, oh, paradoxing them. So I can only assume it really only takes like 2. I guess they do severe damage to the timeline. I don't know. And curious about this whole waging war on Titan. There is nothing but death there, but you never know how things are going to work out. Like what this place is, what it signifies. Like I said before, I previously thought it was kind of like a safe haven, but I don't know if that's true or not. I'm very curious to see what it's all about. But that's really all I want to talk about in this episode. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.